Everyone knows about 1929 and 2008, but what if I told you that America didn't just stumble once or twice, but 6 times before Wall Street even became the monster we know today? That the system we worship as modern finance was born not from genius, but from chaos, from greed, paper money, and panic. Today, we're diving deep into 6 forgotten economic collapses, not because they're old stories, but because they are warning signs written in time. Every crash tells us something about power, about people, and about how history repeats, not in the same shape, but in the same rhythm. Let's begin. Crash 1, the Panic of 1792. America's first fall, the United States was barely breathing as a nation. The Constitution was just a few years old. George Washington was in office. And the financial system? It was an experiment written on parchment and hope. Alexander Hamilton, the country's first Treasury Secretary, had just built the foundation of modern finance. A national bank, a stock exchange, and a public debt system. It was supposed to stabilize the young republic. Instead, it ignited its first financial fire. A few clever speculators realized they could manipulate bond prices, borrowing from small investors, inflating prices, and cashing out before the bubble burst. It was Wall Street before Wall Street even had walls. In just weeks, the markets collapsed. Banks refused loans. Panic spread through New York's tiny financial district. Hamilton, realizing the danger, did something unheard of. He used government credit, public money, to quietly bail out the market. America's first bailout. He saved the economy, but also planted a dangerous seed that the government could, and maybe should, rescue the financial elite. A precedent was born. Every future crisis, from 1907 to 2008, would echo this moment, when Hamilton chose stability over punishment. He may have saved the system, but he also saved the habit of gambling with other people's money. It's strange, isn't it? The man who built America's financial heart also gave it its first heartbeat of moral compromise. Crash 2, the Panic of 1837. When dreams turned to dust by the 1830s, America had exploded westward. The dream of manifest destiny, of owning land, building railroads, expanding freedom, was sweeping through every town and paper. Land wasn't just dirt anymore. It was a currency, a promise, a ticket to wealth. Banks began printing notes, thin promises backed by even thinner gold reserves. People borrowed to buy farms, farms to buy more land, and land to buy status. It was a bubble built on belief, and then came President Andrew Jackson. Jackson hated big banks. He believed they were corrupt, enslaving the people through debt. So he killed the second bank of the United States, the only institution strong enough to regulate smaller banks. The result? Total chaos. Hundreds of local wildcat banks started printing their own money. No oversight, no limits, no brakes. Then, the British economy, America's main financial lifeline, tightened credit and demanded gold payments. Overnight, America's fragile illusion cracked. Land prices crashed. Banks folded. Families who once dreamed of independence were left homeless. That was the Panic of 1837, a 6-year depression that became so severe, people literally coined a phrase for it, hard times. And through those hard times, one lesson was carved deep into the American identity, that when you build dreams on paper, the rain always comes. 3. The Panic of 1857, the fall before the Civil War. The mid-1800s were the age of railroads. Steel tracks stitched America together. Gold from California flooded banks. Factories roared, ports thrived, the future looked invincible. But when an insurance company called the Ohio Life and Trust collapsed due to bad loans, the entire system froze in fear. Trains stopped running. Ships halted mid-voyage. Thousands lost jobs overnight. And this time, it wasn't just a financial crisis. It became political. The North, heavily industrialized, was hit hardest. The South, powered by slavery and cotton exports, barely felt it. Southern leaders mocked the North's paper money system. And in that mockery, you could hear the quiet rumble of what was coming. Civil war. Economic inequality didn't just divide wealth, it divided belief. And when belief collapses, nations fracture. So when historians talk about the Civil War starting over slavery alone, that's only half the story. The Panic of 1857 broke something deeper. Trust in the idea that America could share prosperity equally. The war that followed wasn't just about freedom, it was about who would control the future of money. Crash 4. The Panic of 1873. The Long Depression after the Civil War. America rebuilt fast, too fast. Railroads expanded, cities grew, factories burned coal day and night. Investors poured their fortunes into rail companies, believing they were unstoppable. But there's a pattern in history. When optimism becomes a business model, collapse becomes inevitable. J. Cook & Company, one of Wall Street's biggest firms, over-leveraged itself in railroad bonds. When the bubble burst, Cook's empire fell and took the economy with it. Banks failed, workers were laid off, and stores closed across the country. It wasn't a short panic. It was a 5-year depression, longer, deeper, and more haunting than any before. And something new appeared during this time: the rise of the working class voice. Strikes, protests, labor movements. People began asking questions the elite didn't want to answer. Why do those who gamble always get saved while those who work always get hurt? That question never really left. It echoes through every crisis from 1873 to 2008, as if the system itself is built to protect the players, not the people. Crash 5. The Panic of 1907. When one man saved America by 1907, America was no longer a child. It was industrial, rich, global, but still fragile beneath its shine. A failed attempt to corner the copper market triggered a domino effect. Banks began to fall one after another. People rushed to withdraw savings. The government froze, helpless. There was no Federal Reserve, no official safety net. So, one man, J.P. Morgan, took control. He gathered America's top financiers into his library, locked the doors, and refused to let them leave until they agreed to bail out the system. One man's willpower stopped the collapse, but that moment also exposed something terrifying: that the U.S. economy was so vulnerable, it could only be saved by a single private banker. The crisis birthed a solution: the Federal Reserve System, in 1913. It was supposed to prevent future panics. But over time, it became a machine capable of printing confidence out of thin air. And as history later proved, that power would come with a price. Crash 6. The Great Depression of 1929. The collapse of confidence. The Roaring Twenties. A decade of jazz, cars, skyscrapers, and champagne. Everyone believed the future had no ceiling. Stocks only went one way. Up, ordinary people mortgaged homes to buy shares. Companies faked profits to attract investors. And newspapers called it the new era of endless prosperity. Until October 24th, 1929, Black Thursday. The illusion cracked. Within hours, panic gripped Wall Street. Phones rang endlessly. Brokers screamed. Fortunes evaporated in seconds. By the end of the week, billions had vanished. Men who once wore suits to work were now lining up for bread. Families lost everything. Banks failed by the thousands. It was the most catastrophic collapse in American history, a financial apocalypse that redefined the 20th century. And yet, out of the ashes came new laws, government programs, and the same belief that would define future decades: that money could be managed, pain could be printed away, and that faith, not gold, was the new foundation of value. Epilogue. The pattern that never ends. 6 crashes. 6 eras. 6 mirrors reflecting one truth. Human behavior doesn't evolve as fast as technology does. From 1792 to 1929, every crisis followed the same arc: belief, greed, denial, collapse, regret, and rebirth. And every solution only built the next illusion faster. Today, we trade crypto instead of cotton, and algorithms replace brokers, but the rhythm hasn't changed. We still chase the same high. We still believe this time is different, but history whispers otherwise, and maybe that's why it's worth remembering, not just for curiosity, but for survival. Because the next crash won't come from paper or gold. It'll come from trust, and once that breaks, no system, no matter how digital or advanced, can hold it together. If this story made you think differently, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Not for the numbers, but because knowledge, real knowledge, is the only currency that never collapses. We'll meet again soon. Right here, where history meets truth.